Tennessee did add some significant prospects. I'm going to get your thoughts on each and every one of them over the weekend. It's time for 4 Downs. And we love 4 Downs where we get to Cooper this morning. We get to jump in the hot tub with Coop. 4 Downs brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas.
4 Downs brought to you by Dynasty Spas, the most comfortable spas made in the United States of America, right here in East Tennessee. Drop in for the all-new showroom in Athens. Dynasty Spas, perfect for all 4 seasons. 4 Downs, presented by Off the Hook Sports.
All right, so we're going to get into the biggest get over the weekend for Tennessee. We're also going to talk about the defensive back and the defensive lineman that Tennessee picked up. So we'll go ahead and do that now as we jump into the hot tub with Cooper Mays. Coop, what do people need to do?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
Darn right. And turn your notifications on.
Coop here. First down.
The biggest get was it tight end Holden Staes, junior college defensive lineman Jamal Wallace, MTSU defensive back Jacobe Thomas. The biggest get, I think it's pretty obvious, but let me get your thoughts.
I don't think it's obvious, and you're going to totally disagree with me, Dave.
Oh, okay.
But I actually think Jacobe Thomas is the biggest get, funny enough, in terms of who they can plug in immediately. And I say that. I think he feels an immediate need. And I've said I believe much more in players that commit from smaller schools to bigger schools than I do players that commit from bigger schools to bigger schools or junior college transfers, because as you know, junior college transfers are a total crapshoot. You have no idea what they're going to turn out to be. But I think players that commit from smaller schools are typically overlooked, undervalued players who prove themselves to be valuable once they reach the next level if they're on scholarship and not walk-ons. And Jacobe Thomas last year, I just want to point this out, had 5 pass deflections, 3 tackles for loss.
We're going to break down each of the players.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Okay. So that I think the biggest get is Staes, because Tennessee had to have a tight end. I think that they have a very up and coming tight end. That if there were a newcomer of the year award, he might win it next year with Ethan Davis for the SEC for Tennessee. And then if they had a newcomer of the year award in the SEC, I think he would be one of those guys as far as, first year explosion. I know it's not his first season at Tennessee, but I think he's going to be that good based off what I've heard. So I think with Holden Staes, and if everything I've been told about Ethan Davis pans out, I will take Staes as the biggest one. But I see what you say about totally understand your thoughts on going a different direction. Speaking of Wallace, Coop, what down is it?
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
All right. So what do you think about JUCO defensive lineman Jamal Wallace, Caleb? And I remind you that 4 Downs is brought to you by our friends at Dynasty Pools and Spas. Imagine having the best spas made right here in the United States of America in your backyard. Dynasty Pools and Spas has the showroom open in Athens, and they're awesome. DynastySpas.com, or stop by the showroom, and then they'll deliver. What do you like about Wallace?
I don't know what to like about Wallace, because everything about him is, Dave, I've never seen a player with more conflicting reports. And I'm just going to bring this up. Sierra College lists him where he plays. So his official listing at the college he's at was at 6'4", 270. That's what he was listed at on Rivals. 247 Sports and the composite has him at 6'2", 302. Well, that's a huge difference. So somebody's wrong. Somebody's lying to us. Okay.
Well, I bet I can give you some insight as to who did you say had him where again?
Sierra College had him at 6'4", 270 and listed as a linebacker. And so did that's what Rivals had him 6'4", 270 listed as a defensive end. And 247 Composite has him 6'2", 302.
Okay, I'm betting his junior college doesn't have a huge sports information staff to update that. So I bet he came in as linebacker, and it's purely an oversight. That's possible. And his size, and they haven't gone back and fixed that. He has said he's 6'2" and 300 pounds. So he probably hit a growth spurt from when he showed up on campus, and they just haven't updated it. So, I mean, let's be honest. Would you ever turn down a defensive lineman with any athletic ability that has size?
No, not at all. And as a matter of fact, his addition, I will say this. I think this is a direct shot at Elijah Simmons, because Elijah Simmons is the same type of build that, if he truly is 6'2", 300, is a similar build to Jamal Wallace. And that seems to suggest that they don't think Simmons is ever going to be the type of nose tackle they wanted him to be, doesn't it?
What's going to side note? What's going to become of Simmons?
I don't want to use this name, but do you remember Ronaldo Woolridge in basketball?
Yep. That is actually an incredible comparison for a different reason, but go ahead.
Yeah, Woolridge. We kept thinking Bruce Pearl just wasn't wanting to play him for some reason because of his rap career or whatever. And Quanzo Martin comes in and he doesn't play him either. And it just seemed like he spent too much time focused on other things than basketball. Not that he wasn't a good, and by the way, this doesn't mean lazy or trying to scam the team. It's not that Ronaldo Woolridge isn't a good guy. And Elijah Simmons, by all accounts, is a good guy.
Great guy.
It's just, as we talk about, choir boys and nice guys aren't the ones who always deliver. And I say this, like, even things like, you want to know one of my weird quirks, Dave? To me, and this applies to coaches and players. Ronaldo Woolridge, for those who don't know, was Swiper Boy, did the Eric Berry song. If you're that focused on what other sports are doing, I've always questioned how good you are at your own sport. Like, I always question coaches that root hard for, like, the football team in basketball, because I'm like, why aren't you spending time focused on basketball? You shouldn't have any idea what the other sport is, what's happening with the other sport on your campus, right? If you're trying to deliver results.
Well, I mean, I think that they're all friends and they like each other. I just think he had a lot of focus on his music, and that's fine. You can have different focuses, but I know that if I were in a position to make myself a NFL or NBA player in both aspects, I would be uber focused on football. I just think it's toughness, and I don't think Ronaldo Woolridge had a lot of mental toughness, different kind of toughness in basketball than football. But from what I've told, Elijah Simmons should be regularly, quote, putting guys in trash cans from some people within the program. And he has not been that. He's struggled just to get on the field consistently. So we got sidetracked a little bit with Simmons, but man, yeah, this is a shout out to him and a challenge to him. Yeah, he ought to be able to look at his years played on his bio and see that he doesn't have, eligibility is running out. And the NFL doesn't give you eligibility to prove yourself. Once you get to that level, you're either in and you're out. So it's time to be in. What data is it, Coop?
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
What do you think about MTSU defensive back Jacobe Thomas?
This is the best guy that they got. I mean, as a redshirt sophomore, he stepped in, 71 tackles, 52 solo. By the way, playing safety. If you're a cornerback and you have that many tackles, it's an issue. But if you're a safety and a hard hitter, it's okay. 3 tackles for a loss, 5 pass deflections, a fumble recovery, forced fumble. He really came on strong late. Here's the big thing, Dave, something you can't teach. 6'2", 1. I think you and I both defensive backs were lacking size a little bit for Tennessee, weren't they, this past year?
Yes.
And so I think he adds a unique amount of size. I don't know if he'll stay at safety. You might put him at nickel with Tamarian McDonald gone, with Boo Carter there. One's playing nickel, one's playing strong safety, I think, between the two of them.
Yep, very true. All right, coming up, Tennessee's midterm enrollees are on
What about
campus.
4th down?
Oh, did I miss 4th down?
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
My bad. Too much coffee for Dave. Give me a grade on the transfer portal for the Vols right now. And I'm going to combo there with you. Has Tennessee learned something about going after, and you referenced it earlier, the guys that are coming up and are probably hungry, the McAllen Castles of the world who came from UC Irvine, or is it UC Davis? Nevertheless, as opposed to a Dante Thornton who comes from Oregon, and you think, well, if he was at Oregon, he must be elite. They have great receivers. It sort of kind of maybe fits the offense. What do you think Tennessee has learned, and what would you give Tennessee's overall transfer portal a grade as far as what they've done to this point?
I mean, I'm still on the C range, quite honestly. I just I'm not that high on it, and particularly because Holden Staes is the biggest get in terms of, not to me personally, but in terms of the actual ratings. And there's two red flags, not just transferring from a bigger program, but how much did you play? For those who don't know, guys, Mitchell Evans, Notre Dame star tight end, suffered an ACL injury in October. And after he suffered an ACL injury, Holden Staes had a grand total of 43 receiving yards the rest of the year. That means he couldn't get on the field. And now he battled injuries in November, to his defense. But what makes you think he's going to get on the field at Tennessee if he couldn't get on the field at Notre Dame? And you Tennessee fans all think that Tennessee should be competing for a national title. Like, that's a big question. And I think that's a red flag that I'm sorry. I don't believe in him.
I'm going to give it an incomplete, and I knew it would be because Tennessee had to pay players to stay. So along those lines, what else do they need in this class as part of fourth down?
They need another tight end that they know can actually perform, and because I don't think they have that yet. And also they need another defensive tackle, probably. I would say, and honestly, they need one more of everything they got over the weekend. They need another tight end, another defensive lineman, and another defensive back. That's pretty much where they're at.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And with Staes, I don't think you're going to be asking him to do a lot. Did they ask McAllen Castles to do a lot? Not really. So I think they're going to be fine in that regard.